Hello and welcome back to Passive Kingdoms. This is Guilford, and as you seen right now, things have changed quite a bit between this episode and the last. So let's take a closer look. As you can remember, last episode we built 4 guard towers, and in between the episodes I fixed up the landscape around this first guard tower here, so it's not in the air anymore. And what I also had to do is to deconstruct this whole guard tower here and rebuild it, because I did a really bad mistake in turning it around and not checking anymore, and it was built half over the place of our town hall. So if I would have let it like this and built the town hall, half of the tower would have been deconstructed in the process. So as I didn't want that to happen, I rebuilt it a few blocks more to the exit of the city. And while I was building the retaining wall over here, I was thinking about how to use this valley here, and I changed the whole landscape. So as you can see now, we have a giant cliff here, and underneath that cliff we have lots of space and a big hole in the ceiling, which we'll take a look in a second. On that side here as well, we have a big cliff side, a nice little pond, and while building that I actually realized I don't take fall damage if I land on water, even though I cannot swim, which is a nice thing to have. If we walk through this mountain here, you can see a nice stairway going up. And this big area here didn't exist before. And we have a building spot here for a warehouse. This is one of the 2 things I really want to get this episode going. A warehouse is the central storage of the whole colony, and the place below can be used to build a few courier huts, which will then take the stuff out of the warehouse and move it around, collect things from the huts of the citizens, deliver them to the warehouse, and if anyone requests something, they will bring it from the warehouse to the corresponding hut. So the warehouse is our number 1 thing today, but also while I was building all of this, I got people with influenza all the time. So I really want to build a hospital. And to build a hospital, it needs to be researched first. There's a whole research system within minecolonies, and for this we need a university, and this I want to build here in this empty slot. And then we can research the hospital, and if the research is going fast enough, maybe we can also build the hospital today. In between episodes, while I was building this wall, I did do a few things that I want to show you before we get into the buildings. The first thing is I do have the 2nd iron backpack, and I created a refill upgrade. And I can tell you, a refill upgrade is one of the best things you can get if you want to build big structures. So if I take, for example, cobblestone and put a cobblestone in here, you can see there's a stack of cobblestone appearing in my hotbar, and I can put this also in the offhand, and as soon as I reduce by some sort of amount, it will just replenish directly. So this is really useful when building. I had my cobblestone and my stone and my dirt all here in the refill, put everything I had in the backpack, and never had to worry about not having anything left in my inventory at all. To get a refill upgrade, it's one of the upgrade bases we got last episode as a quest reward. 2 iron, 2 redstone, a chest, and an ender pearl. So it's not that complicated, and it was very, very, very useful. The other thing I did is I got a new spell, and that spell is Spectral Hammer, and I will show you what it does in just a moment.
Great colony to be a part of.
But to get that spell, I didn't find it. I created this Scroll Forge here. A Scroll Forge is an item or a block where you can create new spells. To create a spell, you need 3 things. The first is a spell focus of some spell type. Let me take an Ender Pearl, which is part of the Ender spell tree. Then we need some ink, which we gotten a few of. Let me actually just use common ink. I think this should be working, but I can also take an epic ink as an other example. And the last thing is we need paper. Putting in the Ender Pearl, paper and an ink type, you can see I can, with a common ink, create a Dragon's Breath spell and a Magic Missile spell, but I can't see any of those below. If I take in the epic ink instead, I also get Starfall, Teleport, Recall, Portal, Counterspell, Magic Arrow, Summon Ender Chest and Evasion, but I can't see the last one, which will require Legendary ink. Let me quickly see if I can see the Teleport spell also with uncommon ink. Then I don't need to waste, I can get a Teleport, I can get a Recall and a Portal spell. And to be honest, all 3 of them are really, really useful. So let me get 3 uncommon ink, 3 Ender Pearls and 3 paper and craft all of them. So here we are. I would like 1 Teleport spell, 1 Recall spell and a Portal spell, which are really useful. And let me take a look. What will I not need anymore? Frost Step, Frost Wave probably, and Starfall. While it looks really cool, I'm not using it all that often. So let me put in the Ender spells instead. So, for new spells, let me show you what I can do with those. First up, Teleport is probably the easiest to understand. I'm just, porting a little bit. It has a lot less cooldown than the Frost Step spell, and I can quickly get around without damaging my villagers in the process, which is the main reason why I wanted to get the spell. Then we have a little bit of a hole here, and this is all the materials I used to build these cliffs and walls and everything else. So you can imagine I didn't want to dig out all of this by hand, so I got the spell Spectral Hammer, which can make it a lot easier of clearing a little bit of stone away, collecting a lot of cobble in the process. I will also use this for mining in the future because, you can see it was like 6 stacks of cobblestone with 3 casts, and it didn't even hurt my mana at all. By the way, it's only usable on like soft materials, so stone, netherrack, and similar things, so I can't target ores and destroy them in the process. For the next spell we got Portal, so I can place a portal here, and it will not do anything for now, but if I cast Recall, I will end up in my within my bed, and from here I can cast Portal and just teleport back, which will be super useful for exploration if I, for example, need to empty my bags in the middle of nowhere. And you can see the portals stay there for a while. I have no idea if it's actually time limited, but we will probably see later. Otherwise, I now have a fast entry to my mine area back there. So, Other than that, I just created a small wheat field here, a bamboo area and some flax, which I got a seed of. I just needed to harvest a few things to craft scaffolding. So let's go and get this warehouse and the university going, shall we? For the university, we just need 2 books and a few planks. And for the warehouse, it's a chest surrounded by planks. So both of them are really easy and really cheap to get. Books, I do have some, and I probably also have some chests lying around, but I will probably not find them in any ways anytime soon. So let's craft some new ones. Getting the warehouse block and getting the university block. Let's take a look what they look like. And as you've seen, based on the fields I have set up for them, they are quite big. So, the university is in the education sector, which you probably have expected, and it says colonists do research here. Proposal funding is competitive though. Well, we need to pay for getting these research. And I think I need to turn it around twice, like this. And here we have our university level 1, which is a pretty big, pretty empty courtyard with the university block here in the end. And I need to move it one more over so that it's flush here. And we are good to go. On level 1, the university is really not an expensive building, so I'm going to get this started right now. And I realize our colony is only going until here. So I will need to extend the colony before I can do that, which means I probably need to establish a new guard tower. Well, let's do that then. And with a guard tower hidden away underground here, we now have enough space to build our university. So I placed the courtyard in again, and let's take a look how it will look like when it's finished. All right, Antonella, you have something to do? Please go ahead. And just taking a look here, we need a bunch of dirt, oak slabs and oak logs, as well as oak stairs. That's all not the biggest issue, so let's build the building. All right, I will supply Antonella with all the material needed, and we will go ahead and take a look at what the university is looking in-game. And here we are. Welcome to our new university. So, what's a university for? A university is used for research, like a university in real life too, to get new options, new buildings. We need to research them, and we do have 3 branches that we can research in: civilian, combat and technology, and all are very, very important. Our first goal of getting a hospital needs this first research called stamina, which needs 1 carat to be completed. We will also need, for example, housing of at least 3 levels. So we have at the moment we have 2 because we have 2 level 1 buildings. But if we get a 3rd one or upgrade one of them, we can unlock the library and we can increase the max citizens of our colony that way. As you can see, a lot of those are still grayed off, and you can see there's a lot of elements here to be researched, but most of them require a higher level of the university. Currently, we only have the first level, so this first part here. If we take a look at combat, the first level here says guards require 500% less sleep. So at the moment our guards are standing around sleeping a lot of the time, which means they're not getting their job done. This first here is a very, very important research to get our guards actually doing their job. Tactics training unlocks the barracks, which we will definitely build, which gives us a huge amount of possible guards. And here we also have a lot of improvements, improving knight damage, improving archer damage, unlocks the combat academy or the archery. We can increase the armor and of guards and of knights and archers. We can give the guard armor more durability, and so on and so forth. And last but not least, in technology, we have things like biodegradable. Unlocks the composter's hut, unlocks the flower shop and the plantation. We can get more harvest from our farmers. We can unlock the enchanter's tower and the nether mine, and so on and so forth. For most of those, we need to have a certain amount of levels, which needs to be built before we can get any of those. So we will need to upgrade a few of our buildings before we can really go into the technology table. But for now, the main problem is that we have no researchers. So let's take a look of who is running around the tavern right now, who we may hire to be a researcher. Phoenix A. Cricket, you want honeycombs. I don't think I have any honeycombs. Maybe later. How are you doing, Fiona?
Great to see you.
You would like some sunflowers. You're not having the best stats, but I do have sunflowers, so let's do this. And Fiona walks off, and she probably takes either one of the 2 open guard positions or becomes a researcher. We will see, and it looks like it's a guard. Yeah, that's a guard. We do have a new archer. And Brody D. Crocker wants some baked potatoes. Let's do this as well. He decided to stay in our colony as a citizen. And let's see what he decides to become. Walking over here, being unemployed, and we have another knight. All right. After hiring 2 new knights, I still have no researcher. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to manage workers, and there you can see all unemployed people I have in the colony right now, which is none. But if I click here on show employed, I can still see everybody who is part of the colony. And I can see one of my newest additions, my knight Brody. He has the best stats currently in the colony for this job. So I'm going to hire Brody as a researcher instead of a knight. And he should be here in just a second. I think there he comes. Exactly. Brody D. Crooker, now in a new outfit, is my researcher. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to research, civilian, and I'm going to unlock the hospital, which takes half an hour of research time in total. So, clicking on that, 1 research is in progress. The higher the university goes, the more researchers you can hire, up to 5 at the end, and each researcher can do 1 research in parallel. So Brody can research our hospital, and in the meantime, let's give Antonella a new task to build something. And what this is going to be is back here in this field, I want to build a warehouse. For this, we go into craftsmanship and then storage. And there we have the warehouse. And there is an old version and a normal version. And we can take a look at those. The old warehouse is, let's see, does have this size. That's quite compact in comparison to many other things. The normal warehouse has an empty field next to that. And if I level the warehouse up, it gets a second part. So this is what the warehouse will look at the end. And I'm going for the big version because I really need a lot of storage space, as I want to move all my storage in the warehouse as well. So now to make sure, I would like to have the warehouse controller here on this side. Currently it's on the other side. So I'm going to go here and just turning it twice around, which for the warehouse doesn't make a big difference because it has the doors on either side. But now I do have the warehouse controller here on this end, and I want it to be accessible from more the middle of the colony than the end. And at this point I can just click on go. As you can see, the warehouse on level 1 is also only one part. And I think it gets the second part on level 2. Yeah, exactly. So let's get going. We're taking the more expensive option. And I say build option. We need a lot of oak planks. We need a lot of dirt. And also some polished andesite slabs. Interesting. All right. I'll get everything together and you can take a look as the building is going in construction. And here we have the warehouse built. Let's take a look inside. In the warehouse, we do have these racks. Each of the racks is pretty much as big as a single chest. So we do have, I think, 12, 14, 16 racks in here, which would be 8 double chests. I think we should be able to move most of our stuff in here, but I really want to get an upgrade to this as soon as possible, probably directly in the next episode. If we take a look at the warehouse itself, we can see it has an inventory by itself. We can have minimum stocks for different items, so the warehouse itself can request items so it meets the stock criteria. And we can assign couriers to work at the warehouse. The warehouse is a central piece to each colony because each of the huts can send their products to the warehouse, and builders and other buildings can request items. Things that I have brought to the people myself. For now, if we take a look here in the clipboard, you can see there's helmets, pickups, requests, different armor types, and there's one guard that needs a bow and doesn't have one, and one that requires a sword. So all of these things would be delivered by a courier if it was available in the warehouse. So the next thing we need to do is to get courier huts. So we can hire couriers, so these couriers can move items to and from the warehouse. For the courier huts, because at max level, a single warehouse can support up to 10 couriers, and the courier huts of the pagoda style are pretty big. I decided to put them underground. And this is what I created this space here for. And we will delve into another style with this, and it will be the cavern style. So the cavern style is pretty high, but has low base size of the rooms, so that builders don't need to dig underground too much. And below here we do have space for up to 10 courier huts. And I'm going to set up 2 right now, and we can take a look at getting them built. And they're really, really easy because they mostly require cobblestone. So let's take a look. For courier huts, we do have a 2 option system as well. We can either use leather boots to get 1 courier's hut, or we can use iron boots to get 2. So I'm going for the iron boots here because I still don't have a lot of leather. Getting 2 courier huts, and now we can go and place them down. This here is the cavern courier hut level 1, level 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can see it looks rather nice at the end with all the netherrack and I think blackstone, or is it deep slate? I think it's deep slate. But level 1 and 2 are really easy to get. Level 2 just requiring a bit of stained glass, which we can provide ourselves. So let's put 1 down here and a second one right next to it. So where's the door? Here. And I have 2 wide spaces for walkways between all of those so that the couriers can get to their huts without any issues. All right, so let's plunk this down too. And I will give Antonella the job to do and provide her with the few stone materials we need, and seemingly a grey bed each. Well, sure, why not? And we will have 2 builders in no time. And Antonella just finished up the second courier hut. Awesome. So from the outside, you will not really see them, but they're hidden away here in this cave. And the courier's hut are really not requiring much. You can see I already hired 2 people, 2 couriers. One is Anders that Colmar, and the other one is Misael. And those 2 will be running around and delivering things. And after the first hut was built, Misael here already started collecting things from other huts. So we can see we have an assortment of mob drops here. We have some fallen leaves and some arrows that have been picked up by different, probably our knights. So, between episodes, I will put all the stuff I have here in this warehouse. And next episode, we will take a look at how we can utilize this warehouse a lot better and get into upgrading. I really want to get more storage space, and at the moment, these couriers can only transfer 1 item stack at a time. So for each single item type, for example, for the 1 ender pearl I have here in the chest behind me, somebody walked the full distance without picking anything else up. So this has to change. For that, we need to upgrade the courier's huts. And while we're at it, we can upgrade a few more things. So I will see you back in the next episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We got some pretty big projects put down. And one thing more, the research for the hospital also finished just in time, so we can set it up very, very soon. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Guilford. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.